Namaste. Good morning. Hi. How's everyone today? This is Destiny Forever. I'm back to this morning with a very important video. And I have a lot of information from different people that I want to be able to share some of their knowledge with you, as thinking back on at the time that I spent with my parents, especially my mom, because her and I used to talk a whole lot about our beliefs and our faith. And I'm just going to jump into this video. Good morning. This is Destiny, and it is Saturday, the last day of February. They call this the leap year, the 29th, February 29, 2020. So I want to ask you guys, how's everyone out there on this beautiful Saturday morning? Guys, get up today, go out and do something for yourself. Pamper you, love you, spend your money on you. Doing the things that you love doing. And I always encourage that. A lot of times we end up doing things for other people, our children, our family members and all that, then we don't think about ourselves. And sometimes we think that because we spend money on ourselves that we are being selfish. No. Pamper and love who you are. Love yourself. Take time out and show yourself, not just people, your value and all that. I don't know why I got into that, but it is a beautiful Saturday. Guys, I'm back and I want to talk on this video. Like I said, I got a couple of people I want to talk about with some information. I want to share their information with you in this video. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about my relationship that my mom and I had in our faith walk when we was in Christianity. My parents, they both were ministers, they were preachers, and they also were pastors over a few churches. And all my life I came up in that thread of Christianity, the faith. I was in the Disciples of Christ religion, what they call it, denomination, whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it no more. I was in, my mom came out of the Baptist church, and then she met my dad, her husband, and then they went into the Disciples of Christ and whatever. But I want to talk about that. Like I said, now this video is not to discredit anybody's belief, anybody's faith, the God that they are serving or they choose to serve. This is not to discredit anyone. I'm not coming against anyone. I've been through a lot of different things myself, a lot of different beliefs, faith, walks, and all those things, because we have to go down so many different paths in order to get to the place that the Creator God has for each one of us. We have to take that individual journey, that walk ourselves. And through that walk, we're going to have to go through a whole lot of teaching, hearing a lot of different messages from a lot of different people, a whole lot of digging and studying on our own and getting out into the universe. Let me get into this video. This week, I ran across a video, and he's a YouTuber. His name is Trenius, Henderson, and he's with the Rim Team Network. His name is Trenius Henderson. I love his teaching, but he happened to put a video out there that called God is a Frequency That Exists Within You, and he was talking about Reverend Ike. And a lot of you out there, you young people, y'all probably never heard of Reverend Ike. And you probably say, who is Reverend Ike? Well, I happen to know Reverend Ike through my mom. My mom, she was a huge fan of Reverend Ike. She will hear Reverend Ike messages over the television and through correspondence in the mail. That's how she communicated. My mom didn't have access to computers, internet, and all those different things. So that's her way of connecting with Reverend Ike. I was young at the time and I didn't understand a lot of things, but I know one message that he always poured out. My mama would just get a kick out of that message. His famous word he always spoke. You can't lose with the stuff I use. I really never really sat down myself to listen to Reverend Ike's messages, but my mom was caught up. I mean, really caught up in his messages, and she loved Reverend Ike. And I knew that a lot of people in her age range, her age group at that time, they were huge fans of Reverend Ike. So when Trenius Henderson put that video out, that caught my attention. Now, as I awakened in my spiritual journey in 2014, as I began to awaken, like I said, it's a process. Everything is a process. And the more that you hunger and you thirst for more knowledge and information, the universe is going to give you more of what that you're seeking. And then when I woke up in 2014, as I began my journey, within a year later, I began to get into more knowledge and more information, and more videos began to come up in front of me. I haven't heard of Reverend Ike in so many years, but about a year and a half into my spiritual awakening, as I was doing study and research, the universe started bringing his messages in front of me. And I never really heard his messages. I never really sat down and with my mom to understand what he was talking about. It did not interest me at that time. But as I said, when the universe knows you get to a place that you're really digging for something a little deeper, the universe will bring it to you. And so, like I said, about a year and a half after I got into my spiritual awakening, and I'm on my spiritual journey, and I'm learning and growing into my higher, greater self. I'm learning about the consciousness, the God within me. I'm learning about the universe. I'm learning all the things. Reverend Ike shows up. And I was like, my mama used to always talk about Reverend Ike, blah, blah, blah. So I was very interested. So I began to watch his videos, and I was like, wow, he talks a lot of things that I'm thinking that he was talking more toward Christianity or religion and the beliefs and faith that, the churches were teaching. But he was so far away in his teaching from what I was taught in church, what I learned through, even when my parents were teaching and my parents was ministering, and even when they taught us as children in the home. And it didn't dawn on me. And I was like, okay, great. But my one thing that when I awakened and I really started learning all this knowledge and information, I was like, learning that the God is within me, that, learning about my spiritual journey, learning about things that I was never taught, never heard my parents sit down and teach me. I was broken. My biggest thing that hurt me the most was my mom and dad never knew this, because my mom and dad had passed on, and I was broken. They don't know what I know. They don't know this knowledge. They don't know this information. They don't know about the God consciousness. They don't know about the universe is in me. I am the universe. They don't know that I am my higher, greater self, that I'm God conscious. They don't know anything about this thing that really hurt me. And I used to, shed a few tears over that because it bothered me. I said they passed on and they will never understand any of this. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, your ancestors know. And that's what this video is going to be about. Your ancestors know. We think that they don't know. They know, because the reason I'm saying that now, because I'm understanding they have been here. Just like you and I have been here before. We all have been here. My parents, I don't know how many times they have been here, but they knew. My mama knew. That's why she gravitated to Reverend Ike. I did not understand it until, like I said, my spiritual awakening. Like I said, a year and a half into my spiritual awakening when I ran across his videos. But Trenius Henderson opened up a whole nother thing for me to really sit down and listen to. And he played one of Reverend Ike's messages, and I'm going to link that to the description in this video. And when I listened to that message and it all came back. My mama, she knew. She knew. And I thought when I first awakened, as I really got into learning everything about my higher greater self, about the God consciousness, about my my identity of who I am and connected with the universe and the divine source and the infinite intelligence and all that. My mama never understood that, but she knew. And Trenius, thank you for that video. It was powerful. That message that you put up there about Reverend Ike, it gave me clarification and it gave me proof. And what I was seeking for, my mom knew. She knew, and my mom she was awake, not to the point of being fully awakened, because she says no internet, nobody teach her. She was in a church, she was a pastor's wife, she was around all that, but she couldn't go outside like we can. We can pull up videos all day long, we can get information from a whole lot of people, and the universe is constantly sending us all these different messages and all this different knowledge and things, and we have a greater advantage than she had. She had only the television or the radio or through correspondence mail where she could connect it with Reverend Ike. So let me get into this. And I want to say that I really received that this week. My mama knew. And that's why she gravitated to his ministry. And I'm going to put Trenius Henderson video that he posted on Reverend Ike in the description box. But also, I got another message as I was going through some studying today. And it was this message from the Discernment Ministries International, I think. Yeah. And they did an article on Reverend Ike. And I was like, whoa, confirmation again. The universe, I would say, once you keep digging and when things begin to open up, the universe keeps bringing messages, keep bringing whatever that you need. He's going to bring it. You just got to be open to listen. So I'm going to read some information, some things that this ministry called Discernment Ministries International, they have written on Reverend Ike that caught my attention today. So I took their information and everything and I brought it back to Trenius Henderson video that he posted out there this week about 3 days ago on Reverend Ike. So let's jump into this. Today, guys, it is a beautiful, wonderful Saturday. And as I said, February 29th, 2020, come on into the room. Sit down with Destiny. I want you to know that your ancestors know. We think that they don't know a lot of things. They know. They've been here before. They have all the knowledge and understanding, and they've been here. They came back for more information, more knowledge to be introduced to more different people, into different religions, into different things, but they have been here. So I'm going to talk about the real Reverend Ike. Excuse me. And his favorite mantra. You can't lose with the stuff I use. And that was a message that spread it broad across the whole world. But let me talk about it. And I'm going to talk from these notes from this Discernment Ministries International. And this is what their summary or their analogy or what they have written on Reverend Ike. And I'm going to be reading. Before there was Reverend Ike, guys, listen. Life was boring, right? It had to be very, very, very boring because a lot of people, they talked things that were so negative. They taught a lot of things that told us that we are not worthy of being in the presence of Almighty God, that we were sinful. But anyway, let me tell you, Reverend Ike gave a whole new phenomenal change and a mindset that was totally different to the way that we're supposed to live as the universe, as our Creator God had created for us to live. Listen, before there was a Robert Tilton, before there was a Benny Hinn, Kenny Copeland, you all heard these names, or Paul, or Jan Crouch, there was this man named Reverend Ike. Like these aforementioned these flimflam artists that I just mentioned, Reverend Ike was a tongue talking, prophesying, and preaching Pentecostal preacher. And like many charismatic luminaries, he was too excommunicated. He was kicked out of the Pentecostal denomination. And I'm just reading this article, like I said, about this ministry called the Discernment Ministries International, okay? They go on to say, Reverend Ike was the success and the prosperity preacher and has been a minister teacher. He has been a minister, a teacher, a motivator, an evangelist, a counselor, a pastor to millions of people for over 40 years. Reverend Ike dared to go where most theologians, Bible teachers, and preachers would not. As an evangelist on TV, radio, and at mass meetings, he was bold to preach prosperity now at such a time as that. And long before it became popular to do so, Reverend Ike stood up on a platform and he boldly spoke it out, prosperity. We are supposed to be living in abundance, just like the Creator of God was teaching us. Also, when he began to teach all of that, he was dismissed by some mainstream and fundamentalist people. But guys, now there are many famous preachers and teachers and authors sounds just like Reverend Ike today. Teaching prosperity just like Reverend Ike taught 40 years ago. Guys, Reverend Ike's Science of Living ministry began with only a handful of faithful supporters. He taught these people how to get turned on to life. And he showed them how to be, how to do, and how to have all the good that they desire through the presence and through the power of God, the infinite good, the infinite God, and the infinite intelligence, divine source of the universe. He showed them how to have all of this, and everything that they desire was within every one of us. Since then, Reverend Ike had become a spiritual advisor to millions of people of all races and all religions, and even to those with no religion. He taught that the presence of God is in you. He was teaching that 40 years ago when a lot of people, they didn't even know anything about infinite intelligence, divine source, a higher power, the creator within us. He was teaching all of this, and he taught that the presence of God in you is your unlimited resource of good. Reverend Ike attracted people from all walks of life, ordinary people, the rich people, the poor people, the famous people, the movie stars, the political figures, sports champions, even priests and rabbi. They caught an eye and an ear to what Reverend Ike was teaching. The growth of Reverend Ike's ministry is realized daily as thousands of testimonies and letters pour in from people all over the world. And these people have received good health, healing, joy, love, peace, success, fruitfulness, prosperity, good fortune, and more money through applying Reverend Ike's teaching in their lives. And even today, people like myself have realized that Reverend Ike was consciously awakened to his higher self and to the God within himself before many people ever awakened to understand his teachings and to understand the concept that he was teaching from the Bible scriptures about the God that within us, that we are God. Even though Reverend Ike began his life as a Christian, he attended many of Pentecostal seminaries, and he also was an ordained Pentecostal pastor for a short while. But somewhere the universe got his hands on Reverend Ike, just like the universe got his hands on a lot of us, and we became consciously awakened to our divine self, the divine power within us. But the universe got its hands on Reverend Ike, and somewhere the universe led him on to the path to his higher self and to the God consciousness within him. His messages then went from sin and salvation to prosperity through the power of the mind, or what he called mind science. Guys, the Discernment Ministry International quoted this powerful message that I'm going to read, the following citation, and this message is saying what the divine power of the universe, the Discernment Ministry International wanted us to know this. The following citation saying, it will give you an idea of what Reverend Ike taught. And this is what the Discernment Ministries International quoted. Some religious people are going to be shocked by what I have to say next. You see, Reverend Ike's teachings are based on the Bible, but not the literal translation of these fundamentalist teachers. Reverend Ike interprets the Bible symbolically, not literally. He considers the Bible the greatest book of mind science, the greatest book of spiritual psychology ever written. When he gets through with you, the Bible will never be the same. You will understand it for the first time in your life. And you will love God more than ever. But it won't be the God you learn about in Sunday school. It won't be that stingy, hard-hearted, that hard of hearing God in the sky that you've been praying to. Because you'll learn to stop looking for help from a God outside of you. You will know the truth of yourself, that you are a child of God, and that God is within you. Unquote. I agree with that today more than ever. I have awakened to really believe that, and I tell you guys all the time, the Bible is my spiritual roadmap. It is leading me to my greater and higher consciousness self. I have spoken and said that for over a year now. I've been teaching that. I use that Bible. That Bible, the way they had taught me, is nothing like I had learned what Christianity was leading me to believe. When I learned all of what Christianity taught me in that Bible, it was pulling me away from the divine consciousness, my higher, greater self, because within that Bible, there are powerful messages teaching us that we are God consciousness, that we are God, and that we are connected with the universe. The Bible connects us with our higher, greater self, with our Kundalini awakening. I mean, that's what the Bible is all about. And I agree with what Reverend Ike's teaching that he taught through all those years. And I take my hat off and I give credit for credit's due to the Discernment Ministries International for taking that bold stand and out there to even speak that. So guys, here's my conclusion of this message that I poured out to you today. My message is, I want you to listen very careful. Be careful how we judge people. Be careful how we criticize people. Be careful how we put our mouth out there on people and down them for what they believe. Be careful how we turn our face up and frown at people because they don't speak the same language that you're speaking. They don't believe in the same faith that you're believing in. They don't believe in the same God that you're believing in. There are different gods. Your God can be anything. Be careful how we label people. And be careful how we reject information, throwing it out. Because it's not you. It's not what you were taught. It's not what you were learned. It's not what my mama taught me. It's not what my grandmama taught me. It's not what my daddy, or it's not what my pastor is. No, be careful. The only way that you're going to know the truth is going to have to be you going inside of yourself, and you got to get the truth from within you, because your divine source, your higher power, he's in you. You are God consciousness. The kingdom of God is in you. That's where you're going to find your truth, within you. And you must know that. So you have to be very careful. Throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and I say it all the time. I don't care what you were taught 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 60, how many of years ago. Your truth does not have to remain at that one level, because the Creator is always pulling you to a higher level of knowledge and information. You got to be willing to let go and go with the flow and the power of the universe to get the whole entire truth. It's not going to be in you. It's going to be in the divine source, and he's going to pour out that information and knowledge in you. So be very careful how we judge people. Be very careful how we reject the power and the knowledge that the universe is sending. Through people, through videos, through articles, through information, through whatever form that he may send, the universe is always sending messages. Be very careful how we reject information because we don't understand it. Because we never heard of it before. It doesn't mean because you never heard of it that it's not true. Because you don't understand it, that doesn't mean that it's not true. It's just that you have not grown to that place yet, to that higher knowledge yet, to that higher level of consciousness yet, that you have not been truly fully awakened to the divine power, your higher source, your God, your creator universe. So be careful. Always trust the divine power, your higher source, your God within you. Always trust the universe to bring the truth into your life. Trust the universe. He has your back. He knows what's right. He knows when you're awakening. He's the only one, the universe, your divine source, your God is the only one that can awaken you to this truth. My mom was awake, but she wasn't fully awakened because she did not have the vehicle that we have today. The information, the knowledge, the internet, the cell phones, and she did not have anyone out there teaching all this. All she heard was a Reverend Ike. And she heard it through radio, she heard it through TV, and through the correspondence of mail. She never had the boldness to come up and tell us, or teach us, even as children, or get up there in the church and teach us what Reverend Ike taught. But something enlightened her, and it brought her a glow, a happiness when she heard the name Reverend Ike. I'm understanding now. Mama, you knew. Mama, you understood. Mama, you knew a whole nother of consciousness, a higher of being of ourselves than what Christianity was teaching us, but you never told us. And I thought that you didn't know. And it hurt me to come into all this knowledge, to grow to my higher self. And said, my mama, she passed on, my dad passed on. They never knew this powerful information. They never knew that we were gods. They never knew that we were our higher conscious self. They never knew that the kingdom of God was within us. Mama, you knew. Guys, our ancestors know. the ancestors know. Go back and read the Bible. I read it, as I say, it's my blueprint, it's my higher, greater consciousness guide. But Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 said, do not judge, or you'll be judged. And you can read a whole chapter, it's in the New Testament, Matthew's chapter 7, and it talks about judging people. Don't judge unless you'll be judged. And it tells you about, we got to get that speck out of our eyes before we can see the speck in someone else's eye. Sometimes we got to get that thing out of our eye so we can see other people's truth. So go back and read that. And guys, that was Reverend Ike's message. And now the verdict is in. The verdict is in. And I'd say, yes, Reverend Ike was fully consciousness awakened to the truth of the divine source, to the intelligence, infinite intelligence power of the universe. He was connected to the universe. He was God consciousness. I say yes, he was fully consciousness awakened. And this article, guys, I'm telling you, I'm giving this credit to the Discernment Ministries International, and I'll post their information link in the video below. And guys, I'm done. Like I said, be careful how you label people, how you judge people, how you perceive information, because you're not hungry and thirsty and you're out there digging, you looking, and because you're out there comfortable with everything that someone gives you and you don't want to hear nothing else, because that's where you are, then don't try to turn someone else's mind into a way that you're thinking. Get wisdom and get knowledge with all that getting. Guys, get understanding. I'm done. Reverend Ike, Mom, you knew. My mom knew. I'm happy today because it took me a long while to know that, but the Creator God knew that. I needed to know that because that really hurt me. I cried over that many times. I hurt because I grew to be so much stronger and powerful, and I just broke a lot of chains and curses that was over my life, and I was like, my mama knew, didn't know. My mama died not knowing. My mama knew. Your ancestors knows. On that further note, guys, that's the real Reverend Ike. The verdict is in. Yes, he was fully God conscious, awakened. The way that he put his message out there and how he used his message, hey, that was his truth. We can only live in our own. On that further note, I hope you guys got something out of this message, and I will see you at the next video. Dig, keep reading, keep asking questions, keep looking for more knowledge, keep speaking to the universe, and open your ears to hear what the universe has to say to you. I will see you at the next video. I will see you at the next video.